following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, why every man in a thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me, big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to crazy Jimmy, big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your wanna be, Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Stars.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. Before we get started, let me introduce whoever this person is sitting next to me.
I am Empreming.
You can speak louder.
Are you a director?
No. Yes, actually.
I am Empreming.
There you go.
From the planet Uranus. Or Uranus. Whatever is. We're having spacey stuff today. I wear my space shirt with all my space people and my stratosleds and all my junk. I absolutely am the biggest fan in the world of space movies. As a kid, I was madly in love with Buster Crabbe, who played Flash Gordon, and I always was Flash Gordon. Whenever I played with the kids in the backyard, I had to be Flash Gordon. No one else could be Flash Gordon. Sometimes I was Empreming.
Like now.
Of the universe. I will conquer the universe, Flash Gordon. You think you're going to get away with it? No way. I'm going to conquer the universe. Because my name is, well, fill in the blanks. Anyway, I thought I'd do this as a joke. And, because I really would love to be in a space movie. And Jimmy said there's a script coming up that has that, and I'm going to be in it, I guess. And I would like to play a villain, a wicked person.
So you guys, we have a great show, and before I say hi to everybody, I'm going to let Ron talk for a minute, because obviously the computer in the other room is playing the show, and I can hear it in the background, and I want to go turn it off. So say hi, Emperor Ming. Who's your wild dog?
Magic dog. Astro! Show them! Oh, the baby's scared. He got scared. Oh, my baby got scared. Oh, honey, not you. I'm acting. Okay. Anyway, yes, today's guests did a wonderful job. I was so impressed with the effects of their movie. They weren't cheesy at all. They were almost the quality of Star Wars, the $50,000 million movie. We'll talk about the performances of some of the actors who really did an outstanding job. I was so surprised to see. I know them socially, a few of them, and they really did a beautiful job. I had no idea that they were such good actors. Anyway, we'll get to that. But right now,
let's say hi to the chat room. So what's up, chat room? Cindy Lady Lake loves your space shirt.
Did you see my shirt?
See, it's got astronauts.
Astro, get off my lap. Ow, you're clawing me. His nails have got to be cut. See my shirt? Flash Gordon.
And we have Mako V Productions, producer from Brazil, checking in. He's a Facebook friend of ours, and he always helps promote the show. He's not usually in the chat room. So hello and welcome from Brazil.
Brazil.
And
Brazil.
We have a really great show for you guys today.
Brazil.
Okay.
I'm singing, you rudeness. I love that song. You never heard that song?
How come only one eyebrow goes up?
Because that's the evil.
Oh, the evil is the one eye.
That's the evil eye. Oh, give me the evil eye. Woo, woo, woo. You see, I'm 83, but I'm really 14 or 13 or 12. I never grew up. And that's the secret to never aging, is never to grow up inside. Nature makes you grow up outside, but it's up to you to stay young inside. And if you're young at heart, and young inside. Life is wonderful no matter what age you are.
I love it. So
Yeah.
here's what we got going
Why
today.
are we so pink? I want it to be more orange. Can we go more
I
orange?
don't know if we can. That's as bright as that's as much as it goes.
Is that?
Like it just goes down.
Oh, that's nicer. Yeah.
Okay.
Now oh, Jimmy, you're knocking everything over. Now I look even more evil.
Okay. Hang on. I don't want to cut your head off, that beautiful mane of hair. All right, you guys. So we got a really exciting, fun show today. Our first
Evil
guests
eye.
are going to be Garo Anahit Setian. Garo is the director and the writer for Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star. He also has another film that he did called Automation that we love with a bunch of people that we know. They're super great and they're friends. We've met him socially at a bunch of places, and now we're going to have him on the show for the first time. It's going to be a lot of fun. And our second guest is actor, director, and producer Thomas G. Waits. People who are big into like all the movies from like the 80s will know him. He's one of the stars of The Warriors, which is like the best gang movie that's ever been made, all filmed in New York City through the subways. He was also in Unjustice for All with Al Pacino and John Forsythe and Lee Strasberg. He was in The Thing with Kurt Russell, you guys, which is one of the greatest movies ever. And he has a new movie that just came out called Target that he wrote and directed. It's his first directorial debut. And he has a band called the Thomas G. Waits Project. So I'm excited to have new people on, and we're meeting all kinds of wonderful people. And I believe he's in New York, actually.
Lucky.
And we want to welcome Hub
Reynolds. Yeah.
Hub Reynolds Jr. has joined us in the
Hub
chat.
Reynolds Jr. Yeah. I'm going to expose myself today and tell everybody the truth. I'm really from Mars. Yes, I make believe I was born in Brooklyn. And I was really born in Mars. You know, we have a Brooklyn accent in Mars. Everybody from Mars has my same accent. And people think it's a Brooklyn accent, but it's not. It's a Martian accent. And I am 100% Martian. Yeah.
Also, I want to tell everybody, if you missed last week's show, please go to either SoundCloud or iHeartRadio or YouTube or Apple iTunes, whatever, and listen to the show. The show's doing phenomenally well. I think it's going to end up possibly being our highest rated show that we've ever had in 15 years. And so please, everybody, check it out. It was a lot of fun. And we had a good time with Harvey Brownstone, remember? Okay, you can't have dead air. You have to talk.
My batteries are low. Put new batteries in me. Evil eye, the evil eye. Oh, there's the evil eye. The evil eye. Oh.
All the way around.
I love acting and I love pretending and I love makeup and doing things differently. You know, people think that when I impersonated Jane Russell that I was a drag queen. I was never a drag queen. I was an actor portraying the wonderful legend Jane Russell. Just like when I played the mobster, the gangster guy, or the priest, or the cop. You know, I love character parts. I don't think I would have ever liked to have been a leading man, per se, who just kisses women and shit like that. I love character acting because it puts you in so many different places. And I love it.
You know, we always ask everybody who comes on the show, like who is it that they would like to have act with? So who would you have liked to act with? Because we don't ask you usually.
Oh, Buster Crabbe. There's no or Sam Jones. My God.
Actually, our Sam Jones show is up on YouTube and on all the platforms too, you guys. It's really good.
Sam Jones is Flash Gordon. Yeah. And Buster Crabbe was the original Flash Gordon. I adore, love, and worship Flash Gordon. Jimmy has bought me so many beautiful antique pieces, things that are from the 1930s and 40s regarding Flash Gordon. As a young boy growing up in Brooklyn, we didn't have much of anything. We were poor. And when television came in 1949, we bought one. And oh my God, I never left it. I would run home no matter where I was at 5 o'clock to watch the serial, Flash Gordon with Buster Crabbe. And how I used to fantasize that one day I would be a superhero and I would be Flash Gordon and be able to conquer Ming and Mars and have my girlfriend. It's a wonderful fantasy that I grew up with. I always wore a cape, and I used to jump off the roof of the garage so I could fly. You know, I tie it to my wrists like Flash Gordon did, and I jump off the roof. Lucky I never broke anything, but that was my fantasy. And
And it was fun when we had Sam Jones on the show.
Oh, I love Sam Jones. You know, I'm going to be in a movie with him. I'm so excited to say. And he's my hero. I can't believe it. You know, we all have a hero growing up. Some people like Dick Tracy. Some people like Gene Autry or Roy Rogers. Nah, they were nothing for me. Flash Gordon, that was something else. Because he went in a rocket and he went to Mongo, where Ming, the Merciless, was there. Evil eye, evil eye.
So I actually got invited, you guys. So there's a guy, this was a few years ago, but there's a guy who lives in Palm Springs who has actual movie props from movies. And he's got movies from Star Wars and Lost in Space and like all kinds of like great things. And he has the actual stratosphere, the spaceship, Stratosled,
woo, woo.
You know, that was used in the Flash Gordon 1930s TV series.
I mean,
And he has it hanging from his ceiling.
I would
love
kill
it.
to see that. So I have to ask our friend Andy, when next time I see Andy, if I could get to this guy's house to have a photograph of me underneath it.
They wouldn't let me photograph anything.
Oh, they wouldn't.
No.
But that would be the thrill of my life.
Probably worth like a fucking lot of money.
I know, it is worth a lot of money. But that would be a thrill of my life to be in a Stratosled. Because when I was little, I had a bicycle, of course, and that was called a Stratosled. And when I got on my bicycle, I pretended I was going into outer space. Do you think I was a little weird as a kid?
Also, we want to give a shout out to Dawn Hinton, who she's on Instagram telling me that she forgot her YouTube password and she can't get into the chat. So hello, Dawn. Hello. And I would just make a new password, make a new account or something, and then join us in the chat room because it should be a lot of fun. All right, so what I'm going to do real quick, you guys. First, let me just tell you all the places you can hear the show, you guys. You can listen to the Jimmy Star Show and watch the Jimmy Star Show. We're on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Prime.
And AZZZ Mars.
And also on W4CY, our home station, that you can watch and listen live every Wednesday from 12 to 2 p.m. or 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time or 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific Time. It should be a lot of fun. What we're going to do...
and those of you on AZZ Mars, you may have difficulty getting us sometime because the sun moves and we can't transmit to Mars too well. But, you know, hang in there. We'll get there. Evil eye, evil eye. Oh.
So what I want to do real quick is I have two different trailers for the movie that we're going to be talking about. One tells you all the places you can see it and everything. We'll play that one when our guests come on. But I want to play the first trailer for it. And this is the actual official Space Wars official trailer. I pulled it off of YouTube. It's a lot of fun. So please enjoy the trailer. This is Space Wars. The name of the actual movie is Space Wars Quest for the Deep Star. Here's the trailer, and I believe our guests will be here when we get back. So enjoy.
The year is 2980, and we now know that death is not the end. A soul can be extracted from the recently deceased and be used to create a blue liquid called essence. It can bring a person back to life.
We'll get her back.
I hope so.
It's an expensive process used by the rich and powerful. The rest, they do what they can to survive.
Stay right there.
You told me you're hiding from some dangerous people.
Let's knock on the door. I spent the last year searching for the Deep Star. A bounty so big that the entire galaxy could be yours.
People have been looking for the Deep Star for years. It can't be found.
It's because they can't find the distress beacon. I know where it is.
If we find the Deep Star, we can get enough credits to bring Mom back.
Blast off.
Guys, we have company.
You can run, but you cannot hide. Prepare for impact.
I am now authorized to take action.
And now you die.
No!
Yay! That was the trailer, you guys. The name of the movie is Space Wars Quest for the Deep Star. We watched it last night on Tubi. You'll find out where else it is when we bring on our guests. What do you think, Emperor Ming? Are you ready to go to our guests?
I have a short somewhere.
All right, everybody. Now we want to bring on our first guest. Let's make sure we can hear them. And go ahead and bring them in. Hi.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Good. Yes, we can hear. Okay.
Yeah, I love the Ming look there you got going. That's amazing.
That's him today. He's Emperor Ming today, and he's got his space shirt on with all the everything.
I like the shirt,
guys.
Because I really liked your movie, so I thought I'd celebrate it.
Thank you so much.
I love the effects. It looked like Star Wars, the $20 million movie. I mean, the effects are fabulous.
Hang on, we got to introduce him before we start talking.
Oh, okay.
All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, Garo Anahit Setian. How'd I do?
Close.
All right. So he's Garo
Anahit.
Anahit. Last name is pronounced Setian.
Oh, Setian. I messed up the last name. Okay.
No, that's okay. They are Armenian names.
That's so funny because I talked to Garo and I asked him how to pronounce his name, and I didn't even think about the last name. I just thought the first name. So, all right, you guys, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you. Starting off, let me introduce you to my cool, outrageous co-host, Ron Russell, also known as Ming, Emperor Ming.
No, I like better be Flash Gordon. I want to make an announcement. I really am from Mars. I pretend to be a gay guy from Hollywood, but I'm really from Mars. You know, why not? Listen, you guys.
Hold on, we have a chat room with people starting to fill up. So say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Now, you did a good job, kids. I got to tell you, you little one, you knocked out some hell of a performance. I looked and I said, oh, his wife's in it again. Another family member that can't act, and they stick him in film. It makes me nauseous, right? Yeah. And suddenly this little bitch whips out a performance that was dropped at fabulous. Aww. You really were stealing some scenes, dear. I hate to say it, but you stole a few scenes because you were really good. I was so surprised that you could act as well as you do. You're an actress. It was fun in a way, you know, I couldn't really get into it because I know everybody well in that movie. Yeah. You know, I know Sadie, Sarah so well. I knew Sadie, and I know
Michael Pare.
I know everyone.
We know Tyler. So first of all, okay, let's tell them.
So I know everyone in that movie. So it's difficult when you know people socially to see them act. You know that. But they did a great job. They really did. Thanks. I would tell everybody out there, and I don't bullshit anybody, watch it. It's probably one of the better indie films that you'll ever see, because a lot of them are junk. But this one is good. You did a good job there, Garo.
Garo. Yes, the artist.
You got it.
So hang on, I want to say, so first of all, everybody, so we're talking about, you guys, Space Force, Quest for the Deep Star. It was written by Garo along with Joe Netter. You guys who's been on the show a million times.
My buddy.
The cinematographer was Michael Sue, who's been on the show, and it stars Jed Rowan, who's been on the show. Tyler Gallant's been on the show. Anahit has not been on the show, but she is. Rachel Smith's been on many times. Sarah French has been on many times. Olivier has not, and Michael hasn't, but Ron knows Michael from a long time ago.
I know the first time I met Michael Pare was up at Lee and Perry Winkler's house in Truesdale Estates. They had a Sunday brunch, and in walked this magnificently gorgeous guy. He was drop dead beautiful when he was young. I mean, the eyes on him and he was just terrific. And then I found out he was from Brooklyn, so I really liked him because paisano of mine from Brooklyn. Anyway, I saw Michael at a red carpet. He didn't remember me, but that's okay. I don't look like I used to look. You know, you remember the pictures of me. I look like a killer, black hair, dark. Now, of course, I look waspy. Now I look evil eye.
Hold on, anyway, Don Hinton also said you were great in it. So I want to
thank you.
Tell people so we can hear you guys talk a little bit too. Just tell the basic premise of the story. I actually wrote it down, but it'd sound better for you.
First?
Yes.
For all of you little horny bastards out there, it's not a tits and ass movie. So if you think you're going to see a bunch of broads hanging your knockers out, don't bother watching the film. But
it's not a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie. It's a space movie, and it's done with
sci-fi.
Sci-fi. I call it space, and it's done with the greatest taste that you could do a film. I love it. Jimmy has one coming up, and I will be in. And I won't tell you who I play, but it's a good part. And I can't wait to be in a sci-fi.
You can't wait to be in a sci-fi
because I've been everything in film. I've done everything from drag a woman to a gangster, and now to be in this sci-fi.
He wants to be in an alien movie. Really
I'm an alien. Anyway,
So hold
It's
on,
a good
everybody.
film.
So why don't you guys tell us, Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star? Tell us the premise behind the movie.
Well, it's basically, a classic space adventure in the style of something like Battle Beyond the Stars or Star Crash. Back, in the late 70s, early 80s, right after Star Wars came out, there were all these low budget science fiction adventure movies that were being made. And then other big ones like the 1980 Flash Gordon or the Buck Rogers TV show. And we really wanted to do something in the spirit of those kind of movies. This isn't, I know the title says Space Wars and you instantly think Star Wars. The idea really was to do one of those films that came out in the shadow of Star Wars, because we didn't have a budget to compete. I mean, our budget's the catering budget, for a day on The Mandalorian, probably. But, it was, but we wanted to just make something that was also fun and lively and just a good adventure. And, basically Joe wrote this whole script. I just helped develop the story with him.
God was like, what can we do with what we have?
Yeah.
The pandemic hit and we're stuck at home. We're like, we can't just sit around and do nothing, right? So Garo came up with the story idea and talked to Joe and they went at it together.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, and I've known Sarah for a long time. She's a big part of how this project developed because, I knew I like female leads and action heroes and stuff like that. And, we knew we needed we liked working with Sarah on automation. She had a part in that too. And she was doing all this like workout stuff, like during the pandemic, like
just posting it on Facebook.
Yeah. Just lifting weights and
flipping tires,
all this kind of stuff. And Anahit and I were
that too. I saw all that.
Yeah. And we were like, maybe we can make Sarah an action hero, And and my uncle had a big garage space and like an office space. And he told me, even after he saw what happened when we filmed automation at my cousin's place, he was still willing to let us film at his. He just said, "Hey, if you ever want to make a movie here, you can do it." And I was like, "Okay, I could probably build a spaceship."
So we got space,
and
we have people who want to
build. So you built the spaceship.
Yeah, that was all built. It was all just like 3 rooms at an office space. One was a main garage, and then there were 2 other ones, and we just kept rotating the sets. And actually, I had a script already, which was made for sort of a limited location. And producer Jeff Miller came to me and he was like, he loved automation and he wanted to do a sci-fi movie with me. And I gave him this other screenplay. It was just a bit too ambitious for what he was thinking. And then he said, "Can you do something with like monsters and stuff in it?" And I'm like, okay, yeah, I love that. Like a Sinbad movie in outer space, something like that. And so we saw
it's
Sarah.
Very much like that, though. It's very much like that.
That was really the thinking.
I thought that. So I took it basically as a throwback to like a B horror, like a B space movie. I actually in my head compared it to Buck Rogers and also like all the Power Rangers movies. That's how they are. And I love the Power. We've had a bunch of Power Rangers on the show. I collect Power Rangers action figures. Like I love Power Rangers.
Did you ever see Zsa Zsa Gabor's movie?
Queen of Outer Space?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that.
Mr. Blackwell was my dearest and best friend in the world, like my father. And he and Zsa Zsa were sort of bitter friend enemies because he once wrote that he did the worst 10 dress list. And he put on his 10 dress list, Zsa Zsa Gabor. He said she looked like a chicken in a tree ready to lay an egg with all the fashion she wears. Anyway, she's kind of bitchy and bitter to him. And one time he told me at a party, she was kind of ragging on him. So he told her, "Zsa Zsa, go make another one of those wonderful space movies you were in." He said that we all so enjoyed. And then he just turned around and walked away. She went nuts. She was furious. She said, "It happened to have been a very good movie," which it wasn't. You ever see it? It's a dog. It's the worst thing.
If it's a sci-fi movie,
He's got it.
I have every Blu-ray of sci-fi movie. Even the worst.
From outer space or something.
I want to go back to that. Hang on. So first I want to go to Anahit. So
yes,
because I thought the same thing that he did. Okay, he put his wife in the movie, and your first scene was like okay, and then by the third scene, I was like, oh my god, and by the end of the movie, I was like, she stole the movie. And you know who I kind of compared you to? And Buck Rogers has the little robot called Twiggy. And I thought you were like a female, like live version of Twiggy. You know, you bopped around, you got into things they didn't want you to, but you did it anyway. And I think really that you stole the whole show.
I have to give you a compliment because
Yes.
I've been in the movies business 64 years, and I've seen a lot of big shots play, actors. I find today most of these kids are uptight when they're acting. They're not relaxed. And if you're not relaxed when you deliver your lines, they're fake. You cannot be, you can't do this. Look, here comes the monster. You can't do that because it doesn't work. You were so real and so relaxed. And I said to Jimmy, she's relaxed. She's a relaxed actress. You made it so simple and so easy, all of your lines. You did it beautifully. Whereas, I don't want to mention who, but somebody that was the villain was overacting. I thought she had a diarrhea attack or had a fart or something because the faces she made were like you were making a dump. Anyway, I wasn't happy with that. I've seen her work in other films and she's very good. This film, she just overdid it.
Well, any performance, you could put it back on me because, everyone was directed to be the way they were. We kind of knew what sort of movie we were in. And we wanted it to be over the top and,
I thought it was. And it was like.
But you know what? When you do that, you hurt the actor because people don't know your motive. And the people that go see the film simply say, lousy job. So you can't do that to an actor. You have to say to the actor, listen, do it. There are many ways to be evil without being evil.
Right.
Well, I thought because I thought the very first
this.
I thought the guy at the very beginning, because he was
the judge,
and I was like, oh my gosh, and that's why I got it right off the bat that this is like a throwback, like the Power Rangers. Because if you see Rita Repulsa in the Power Rangers, that's exactly how she acts. And I'm gonna get her on the show. Actually, we just met her. And so
wow!
On the show.
Michael Paré, again,
Michael Paré was fabulous,
veteran actor who was totally relaxed.
Yeah.
And he's believable. He didn't overamp. I've seen so many actors want to do it so badly that they don't do it.
Thank you so much, both of you, for that compliment. Because
honey, I don't go smoke up anyone's ass.
Yeah, believe me, he doesn't.
Ask Marcel and Joe and Sarah. I feel a veteran of film. Jimmy and I see 2 movies every night with dinner.
Wow.
So I've watched thousands and thousands of movies over my 64 years.
Yes.
And I've met many of those stars of the legends of Hollywood. So I was able to discuss things with them. And like Betty Davis said, don't let them catch you acting.
Yeah.
And I agree with her. And other people that say that. That's why I say you are a damn good actress, just not his wife.
Betty Davis is one of my favorite actresses.
She was a buddy of mine. Not a buddy. She was a more than an acquaintance of mine. And I loved her. She was very frank. And that's the thing she liked about me. She always said that, you say what you feel. And she liked it.
She did.
She did that.
She was a powerful woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I love the way you cast the film. You like Sarah's not really used to that, so you brought some people out of their element a little bit.
I'm glad she wasn't
nice
naked.
And,
I'm happy she didn't get naked.
And
I got so angry with her. I say, Sarah, you're such a damn good actress. You don't need tits and ass anymore. That was forget about it years ago. Now let's see some real work.
Which was fabulous.
She was terrific, beating the shit out of that guy, which is highly.
I loved her fight with Rachel Brooks Smith. So I'll tell you, Rachel Brooks. First of all, I was really impressed about the cast, though. Michael Paré, big star. Rachel Brooks Smith, has some really big mainstream. She's in Scream TV series and that cheerleading movie, and she has this movie where she plays like a singer, where she lip syncs like for the other singer, and she was in that dance movie that's Center Stage 3. I mean, she's got some really major credits, that were put out, and I haven't seen her in a long time. When we lived in Pennsylvania, she came on the show twice. And she's a great actress. She's got a huge social media following. She posts a video because she works out and does all that workout stuff. And she's got like every guy on the planet.
And what's his name? Our little friend, the one that was blind.
Jed Rowan. No, definitely
no. He was playing the deaf guy in Blind.
Oh, Tyler Gallant.
Forgive me for getting your name, Tyler. I'm a great supporter of you and your work. Tyler, your work is getting better and better. You're going somewhere.
I thought Olivier was great.
Wait, I didn't get there yet. Let's do
Okay.
Tyler. Tyler, you're looking good. You're relaxed. You did your job well. I'm proud of you, Tyler. And when I see you, we always talk about what could you do better. Well, I think you're doing better.
Yeah, he's very committed.
We're so committed to the physicality of this because the fight scenes, that took time to choreograph and plan, and they were training nonstop for that stuff.
First of all, they were great. The fight with Sarah and with Sarah and Rachel Brooks Smith was awesome. Like I loved it. I was like,
and
awesome.
I know Sarah privately always wanted to beat up a guy, so that makes sense in the movie. The monsters. Let's talk about the monsters. The one that came out of the cave, okay, but the rest of them were fabulous. The fire monster that tried to grab the little spaceship. The spaceships were wonderful. I really had a feeling of Star Wars.
Good.
The zillion-dollar film. The musical score was excellent.
Joel Christian Goffin. He's an incredible composer. He did the music on Automation as well. But we wanted a big sounding score. And
your music did not drown out the actors, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
So many movies I see the music is louder than the actor, and it distracts you from the performance.
We have that a lot. We watch stuff on Tubi all the time.
So your music was mellowed out. Photography. Let's talk about that.
Wait. You're going too fast.
No, shut the fuck up.
You talked about the monsters a minute ago. I want to go back. So there's a scene.
I really can't stand it. You're working with no joy.
There's a scene. There's a scene where the spaceship's about to crash, I think, and there's this one monster, which I wish that would have been in there more. He was like, no, not the fire monster. It was like purple and green, and it was like a giant lizardy looking thing where you only saw it from the neck to its head to its neck, and you flew over it. That looked so like $100 million film. It wasn't even funny, and I thought the monsters were a lot of fun because they were very.
Now can I?
No, they were very.
Who did them? Those monsters were done by Stephen Clark and also Paul Mott. Also worked on the effects. They do these. They're an effects company in England, and I actually had I already was referred to them by some other filmmakers like Hank Braxton and James Kondelik, and when I went to them, I sent them the footage of the movie because they don't look. It's like, just send us the movie. Let's see what you got. And they looked at it and they called me up and I said, we were watching this thing and we love this movie. This is exactly the kind of movie we grew up on like Saturday afternoons and stuff. So they were in and they gave it everything they got. And every day was Christmas when I got new shots from them. It was amazing.
Well, the monsters were very cool.
May I speak?
You've been speaking.
I like to speak. That's why your show's a success. If I wasn't here speaking, you'd be back in radio with 10 people. Not to be evil, but the truth hurts. Evil. Anyway, photography.
Yes.
I hate photography that bounces and goes all over the place.
Right.
Other old people like me said the same thing.
I get sick.
Yep.
Well, I need interjection. I don't need interjection. Sit there like a nice boy and let me finish. When I finish, you go. Then you go, I go.
Okay, go.
That's how it goes.
Go.
Listen, do me a favor. You got a good lawyer?
Yeah.
So I can divorce this guy? Oh, going from Eli. Anyway, what was I saying?
You're done. You don't like shaky.
Wait, hold on. You have an excellent DP. Whoever your DP was, keep him. He's good.
Michael Sue.
He's been on the show.
And the color was quality good. And you didn't see, like sometimes they use a red camera, sometimes they use the other one, and you see the color changing. Now she's in a gold top, then she's in a green top. And I find that very disconcerting. So your color stayed the same throughout your film. The length of the film was perfect.
So I want to hear from you.
There, we've torn this film to pieces and we've praised this film to the heavens.
Go see it.
What are you, a puppet?
I want to have him talk.
I'm not a marionette. I'm not a puppet.
Actually, Ron, I do agree with you about the shaky camera stuff and things, and that was something very, very specific. Like when I do a fight scene in a movie, I want to see the fight scene. I want it to be like Raiders of the Lost Ark underneath the airplane. I mean, I like layered action where there's a lot of stuff going on, but you got to see it, and there's so many movies, and especially with lower budget movies, if they're doing an action scene, there's no time for them to choreograph anything. It's just shaky camera and people fall down. I mean, that's not exciting.
What I like also is you did long shots.
Yeah.
We movies do headshots, close-ups.
Yeah.
Or 2 shots close. You did a long shot when Sarah was walking in the desert, which I thought was wonderful, almost Lawrence of Arabia.
Gave it scope. Yeah.
A beautiful blonde Lawrence of Arabia. Of course, Sarah French is the most beautiful girl in Hollywood. I adore Sarah French. She's one of my dearest friends, and I love her to pieces.
She was amazing. I mean, I can't say enough good things about working with her. She was so committed.
Sarah French is not a bitch. She's not a show-off, and she's not in competition with other women. She's a sweet, dear, nice person, and I'm so happy that she's my friend.
So in the chat room, they're asking, what desert did you guys shoot in?
Okay, so the interiors, all the sets were in La Puente,
in his uncle's little
my uncle's
office.
place. Yeah. But we shot 2 days during the main film shoot out in the Las Vegas area. There was Pahrump and also we're near the Arizona River. Yeah, the caverns. A lot of films are shot over there. So yeah, we did that, and then we went back one more day for pickups, which was the Red Planet sequence. I just fell in love with this location near the river area.
You know, that's what Mars really looks like. The last time I saw him when I was there, that red stuff was happening. It's red dust that blows up. So we try to get rid of it because, you know, we all live underground. And we come up once in a while to look. What are you laughing at? I'm a Martian.
You are a Martian.
When the spacecrafts land and you see me on television with the head of the Martians, you know I'm real.
There you go. So here's what I want to know, because Garo, Gato, sorry.
You were right the first time.
Okay. So you're an editor by trade, right? Like you're a professional editor. So how did you learn?
Well edited.
Yes. Because literally, like what really sells the movie, and yes, you had great actors and most of them were really, really, really good. But really what sells this movie is the spaceships and the special effects and the fighting and the things blowing up and all that kind of stuff that you did. And now, did you do that, or did you have a special effects? You did it, right?
Okay. So like I did the editing on I developed the script with Joe. Joe wrote the script. I produced and directed with our whole team, and produced with everyone, directed the movie, and then I edited the movie. I edited both of my films, this one and Automation. The special effects were these guys in England, Steve Clark and Paul Mott. And a lot of the scenes were either storyboarded for the special effects sequences, and those storyboards would either be little chicken scratches that I did, stick figures. Like the whole Red Planet scene was just a bunch of little boards I drew, and I'm like, okay, Sarah, look here, point there, this thing's over there. And she's so controlled, she knew exactly, she was always in the character in the moment. And that was tough because that backpack kept falling off of her all the time while we were filming. And then, what was I saying? And then
it took 9 months to edit it.
Yeah, it did take a while to edit it. And then the special effects scenes, I worked with Anthony Pierce, who is the production designer on the movie, who built the spaceship sets. And for some of the bigger sequences, like the opening action scene and the asteroid scene, he did boards for that. So when I was editing, I would put in the boards for the shots of the spaceships going through the asteroids.
To fill that space.
Yeah, and then I'd like temp track it with like music from Battle Beyond the Stars. In fact, I remember, it's funny, when I started cutting this scene, it's kind of challenging. I mean, I've worked with effects before, but this was a lot more effects than my previous movie.
How many? 500?
592 effect shots.
92.
So it's like, I'm doing this spaceship scene, and you're basically intercutting actors sitting at control panels and doing this stuff. And then, you got to try and get the momentum, and you don't even have anything yet. You just have the pictures. So I used this music cue from Battle Beyond the Stars. It's James Horner's music. And that helped me start finding the tempo, and creating the whole sequence where that whole asteroid sequence.
What you did was called ease editing. You ease in and out. Some editors are so choppy.
Yeah.
I can't stand when the scene has been destroyed by a chop. You've established something in your dialogue with your partner, the actor, and the audience now gets it, and then suddenly it's over and forgotten. No, it has to have continuity. You know that. What Sarah was doing with, what's his name, Tyler, had to go into the next scene. And I saw that was called ease editing. And I like ease editing. I don't like some editors that chop.
Yeah, I'm not
The
into
style is very fluid.
Yeah, I'm not into choppy stuff. And it's funny, there's actually more edits in some scenes than you think there are. But again, that's because it's smoothly done and it's motivated. Like if someone's looking at something on the other it's not just about like I talk and then this person talks. This turn, there's that to the eyes and what's going on between the characters and all that stuff. So
no, yeah. I learned a long time ago from some of the greatest actors in the world that I've known, without name dropping, the most famous of the 1950s. And the thing that they always said to me is, Ron, you have hands, use them. They tell a story.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And we were very fortunate because again, the whole cast was great.
I just picked my nose into the snot.
I saw it.
Yeah, no, but that's telling a story. I didn't have to say, oh, I'm going to pick my nose, roll the snot. I simply do this.
You just showed us.
And, I just told the story. So you have to learn to use your hands when you work because hands, tell so much.
So you've always been, I'm going to assume, and I don't know about you now, Anahit, but, and we'll get to you in a second, but like you have, so you've done 2 movies. We also loved automation. I have to tell you, so we go to all the independent like movie premieres, and basically our favorite ones, Art of the Dead by the Mahal brothers and Tommy Knockers was good. All Marcel's films are really good, and automation and Space Wars are really good. And we're friends with all the other people, and they know we tell everybody, their films are okay, but they're not good films like these are. So number 1, kudos to you. Number 2, have you always been a sci-fi?
Dogs, I've been in a few dogs. Well, I gotta tell you, I've been in a few beauties.
So wait, have you always been a sci-fi guy?
Yeah, always. I mean, I've sci-fi, fantasy, adventure, movies with dinosaurs or Godzilla, that kind of stuff. I mean, I've always Ray Harryhausen movies, and like I like horror movies also, but it's like horror and sci-fi are sort of like close cousins. And for a while, for almost 20 years, we were trying to get a movie made, our first movie. And to have something and to be a horror project and you're developing and then, we're ready to shoot. Oh, no, that one
Something would always fall through.
Something would always fall apart. And really all the broken pieces of all these different films finally came together and became automation in the end. And that was just a wonderful thing, the way it all came together. But sci-fi is genuinely more where I am. Anything that's fantasy and like escapism. As far as horror stuff, I like things like From Beyond or, things that have a more fantastical element to them, or the Hellraiser movies, things like that. But yeah, I mean, I just like taking the audience on a journey to another place, another world. That's so fun about films.
It's so back again. I predicted this, Jimmy will tell you. We had the vampire, then we had the Frankenstein, then we had the zombies, then we had all the same bullshit over and over again. 10 people in a room, 10 people get killed one at a time. That, thank God, is gone. Now I told Jimmy, it's going to all be about space movies. We are so involved now with this aliens flying around.
Yeah.
And on the news, everything is about the flying saucers that we are seeing, but not the government's not telling us. I would like to write a script, or somebody, I don't have the time, but somebody to write a script about the government cover-up of flying saucers. And then suddenly they land somewhere and go into the White House and kill the president. Wouldn't that be nice?
No. He likes those. He loves all those. Like one of my favorite movies, and we just recently watched the Keanu Reeves remake. What's the movie?
Maybe It's Still?
Yeah, the day there's just the original one is really good. I love it.
But I knew her, and I loved her so much, Patricia.
Patricia Neal, right?
Yeah, Patricia Neal. She loved that film. I said that to her. I said, out of all your work, isn't it terrible, Pat? I only remember that one film. She said, everyone does, Ron. You're not the only one. She said, I really enjoy doing it because working with Michael Renier at the time was a big deal. And she was wonderful. I was peeking in her apartment in Manhattan. She had the door open somewhat. We were chatting, and I saw a picture of Gary Cooper on a table, big picture. And I said, boy, oh boy, that was some love affair. And she looked at me. She said, what do you mean was?
Aww.
She loved him till her death. And yet she was married to Raoul, Arlene Dahl's cousin, Raoul Dahl, and had 5 children with him. But Gary Cooper was always her love.
Wow.
Patricia Neal was a lovely, lovely actress and a lovely, lovely person. Someone I really care for.
So what I want to do real quick is, we'll let you introduce it. So I actually gave our engineer the long version, which we played before you came on, so everybody
That's
can
a
see
wonderful trailer, by the way.
and now I have a shorter version that tells everybody where they can stream it. So I'm going to have him play it, but you introduce it, and then Juan, our engineer, is going to play. Juan, you're going to play this. I titled it Space Wars Short. You introduced the trailer.
This is the review trailer. The trailer with all these nice reviews in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You announced we're going to play
on Tubi, and see, people can watch it for free now on Tubi, Amazon Prime, Vudu.
There, he's better at that.
No,
than
no,
I.
you go.
What do you want me to say?
Well, I'm Nate, and I'm in this film, and check out this cool trailer or something like that. Be bold. Go. You can say anything.
Hi, I'm Anahit. I play Jackie in Space Wars. Please check out our trailer. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yay!
Now on digital and DVD.
Hit it.
Space Wars Quest for the Deep Star is an epic sci-fi adventure.
Do what needs to be done.
An edge-of-your-seat wild ride.
We have company.
Tons of popcorn-munching fun. 5 stars. A love letter to the sci-fi films of the 70s and 80s. With plenty of action and fun for all. You need to see it. You really do.
The captain just decided it's time to go.
I am ready for a sequel. Experience a bold new adventure. Space Wars Quest for the Deep Star.
A good old-fashioned adventure.
Now on digital and DVD.
It's a good adventure.
The trailers are so freaking good. It's not even funny.
And you know what? Sarah French, this was so out of who she does and who she is. You know, to be an action figure instead of just a sexy woman who gets chopped up all the time. You know, I'm so happy that she's doing this because it makes her real look interesting. Now
I love her chemistry with Michael. They were great. I mean, when you know, Joe and I were working on the pre-production and stuff, I remember, because we had a pretty tight shooting schedule and everything. But one thing about this film and Automation, I'd say like 90% of the cast, the script was basically written for them. You know, so we knew Anahit was playing Jackie, Sarah was playing Taylor, and Michael Pare was going to be Kip. And I remember, like, because a lot of scenes are between those characters early and stuff. And Joe was like, I think with those 3, we're going to be all right. We're going to be okay. We're not going to have too many problems, you know, because, you know, there were days, I mean, we had to just get the stuff done.
Pages and pages done quickly.
Yeah.
And everybody was so committed, so professional. Everything went smoothly between Michael and Sarah and I. Just, I think I was on set for maybe 5 days.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You did a lot of soliloquy work, my dear. You had a lot of messages there.
Yeah.
If they give me a script like that, I wouldn't be able to do it without my earplug.
Yeah.
Because at my age, 82 years old, you forget lines. But
Yeah.
with my earplug, I could do Shakespeare in 1 hour, nonstop, and never miss a beat. So, well, it's wonderful if I'm on the set and I let all the young ones fuck up and they don't know their lines, and I just stand there going, did you study your lines last night?
Do you have trouble? Do you have trouble remembering lines?
Yes,
or is it easy
that
for
was
you?
my question.
Oh, you know, it takes a while. It depends on the material. For example, there was some terminology in there that Joe threw in that I wasn't comfortable with, or it wouldn't roll off my tongue. But he was very generous in allowing me to adjust those so that I could do it. So he allowed me to change a few words. I said, "Can I say this? Would you mind?" And he was just so gracious about it. A lot of writers are so sticklers, say it as it's written.
Oh, yeah, he was good.
No, I've discussed writing with Joe.
Yeah.
And Joe and I agree with the same thing. You're hiring an actor to act.
Yeah.
The lines may not necessarily be the right lines. Like, for example, I was in a movie I won't mention where I played a mafia tough guy, and the line I don't remember, but it was something like, "Oh shucks, darn heck, don't do that." And I never heard of a mafia guy saying, "Oh shucks, darn, don't do that." So I said, "I'd like to play it this way: keep it up and you're dead."
Yeah.
And they agreed. They said, yes, it's far more important. So sometimes the writer is not from Brooklyn, Italian, and in the mafia. So his knowledge of what he's writing is weak. But I'm from Brooklyn, and I grew up with the mafia, so I know what it's all about.
Yep.
So I can portray them well.
Yeah. So
Now, which brings me to you.
Yes, sir.
When you work, are you totally engrossed in the character? Do you forget where you are and who you are, but you are the person you portray?
No. Short answer.
So
I'm always me. I'm always me. I'm playing my version of who the character is.
Your interpretation of the character.
I have, for myself as an actor, I come up with a backstory for who I am playing. That way, if the director wants me to play it a different way or come at it from a different angle, I have the backstory to back up what I'm going to do. It takes a lot of time for me to come up with a storyline for myself, only for me to know. No one else has to know, the director or the writer or whatever, so that I am completely and fully that when I show up on stage.
I think we all do that. I know when I work, I imagine the character, where he lives, what he does, what he wears, what he eats, and how he is towards his family and friends, because that's so important in what we do. That's the difference, you kids out there, from reading a script on set. Do not read your lines. Any jerk can read lines on a set. But
live your line.
You have
to live your line.
Yes, you gotta live your life.
Listen, if I'm playing a spirit from another planet, evil eye. If I'm playing an evil person from another planet, I have to really create that evil person. Probably I would pull from Emperor Ming in Flash Gordon, the original, because he scared the hell out of me as a kid. He was a wicked fellow. Charles, what was his name? Charles Middleton played Ming.
Did you ever watch any of the Flash Gordon, like the 30s Flash Gordons?
I did watch some of those in the past. I definitely, though, remember the 1980 movie more than, that's more present in my head.
We actually had Sam Jones on the show last year.
Really?
Yeah, he was great.
The Buster Crab 1936. The momentum was like your movie. You were really that momentum. I mean, they had Flash Gordon had the rock people. It was a wall of rocks, and suddenly they came out and were walking. It scared us as kids. Now I look at it, I go, they look like paper bags. They got wet and they crushed them all over these guys. Bad. So a lot of the effects, they didn't have green screen. They didn't have what we have today. How about that horrible one with Bela Lugosi and Vampira?
Oh, that Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I love the robot from that. I have the robot. I have a played robot.
That movie is so bad that you have to watch it just to love it.
Yeah, I love it.
I watched it when I lived in New York years ago with a group of people in my house. We watched it, and we just sat there laughing our heads off.
Wait, let's go to Anahit. So what kind of movies did you like? Are you also? I know you guys are married. It doesn't mean because we don't like all the same things. Are you a big sci-fi person?
That's because I have taste and you don't.
Yeah. Are you a big sci-fi person? Yes or no?
Yes. One of my favorites is Alien, and Tremors is a close follow-up. But I grew up.
What was the close follow-up? What was the close follow-up?
Tremors.
Oh yes, good. Okay, we like Tremors.
I lean more toward romantic comedies, dramas, adventure, things like that.
She's not into horror.
No, and dance movies. I will watch as whatever I can get my hands on when it comes to dance movies.
Oh, did you see Rachel Brooks Smith movie then? The dance movie she did?
That one I did not. No.
Oh my gosh, it's really good. You have to see it. It's really good.
Yeah.
I cried during part of it.
Yeah.
It's really good. So
I'm not a fan of horror movies unless they're Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock's original movie. That was a piece of work that will never be again.
Yeah.
It was the most incredible. Back in 1960, I went with my girlfriend Hilda, and she dug her fingernails into my arm. Oh yeah, because she was so frightened. The audience was petrified. We have never, ever in the history of film back in 1960, the star dies at 10 minutes into the film. Yeah. No, I said he put her in the car, but somehow she's got to get out of that car. I would not accept that Janet Leigh was stabbed so brutally. Yeah. The girls in the audience were screaming. I mean it, screaming. People walked out on that film. They couldn't tolerate it. They thought it was disgusting. It was unnecessary. It was too much.
They'd hate it today.
People didn't take showers. Women would be in the shower, tell their husband, stand outside, please, I'm frightened. Aww. That film had such an effect. Why? It made you become the person. You became Anthony Perkins. Yeah. You became Janet Leigh. You became Vera Miles. You became John, whatever.
Yeah, what's great is Anthony Perkins is sympathetic in it too. I mean, you like him.
It was brilliant. I knew Anthony Perkins. Yeah. I had a couple of drinks with him at a bar on Long Island, and he was exactly in person. As he was on screen, he was exactly in person. He twitched his head a lot, and when he spoke, he thought and he paused. It was a bit strange.
Yeah. So let me go to Anahit. So first of all, I want to say, because Lance Henriksen is like my favorite actor of all time since I was a little kid. You know, he's been on the show. He's given me he makes these alien. Have you seen the alien tiles that he makes? Anyway, he makes these alien tiles. He doesn't sell them. Once in a while, you'll find them for thousands of dollars on eBay. And I used to be a clothing designer, and I gave him some of my clothes to wear. And he gave me one of these alien tiles and wrote on the back of it to me. So he's always been my favorite actor. And he's very, very, very cool. So kudos for the whole alien thing, because he's like, that. So let me ask you, what are some of your more favorite romantic comedies? Mine's Pretty Woman, without a doubt. That's like my favorite.
I don't have modern ones. Some of my favorite comedy actresses are from the past, like Claudette Colbert. She did a lot of romantic comedies, and I love her to death. I love all of the older comedic actresses like Lucille Ball and Carol Burnett. I grew up watching Saturday afternoon movies, so I grew up on Andy Rooney and all the musicals, just that is my background. So I enjoy physical comedy. I think the most modern actress would be Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. I laugh at it. I just enjoy her movies quite a bit.
You brought up Claudette Colbert.
Yeah.
My Perry Winkler lived on Fifth Avenue, right opposite Central Park, and Claudette Colbert lived in that building also. Mm-hmm. And one day, leaving Perry's apartment, she got in the elevator, and I said to her, I said, Miss Colbert, the one regret I have as an actor is, and she looked at me, I said, never being able to work with you.
Oh.
And she looked at me, she said, well, you never know, it could happen. I said, yeah, from your mouth to God's ears. And she started to laugh, and of course got out of the elevator. She had to be 3 feet high. You're tall. You're taller than her.
I am 5 feet.
She's 5 feet.
I think
she's smaller than you.
Claudette Colbert's 4'9" for it. The littlest woman in the world. When I spoke to her, I had to bend over. Really, that's tiny little woman. Very pretty, still pretty. She was about 100, but very pretty when I met her. She was in her early 90s, maybe.
So here's a question I like to ask everybody. Well, Taylor, but we'll go with you first, Anahit. I always like to ask actors, male and female bucket list actor that you would love to work with, and they can be living or dead. And then the second half of the question would be, if you could have ever been in any movie that's ever been made in history, what movie would you have liked to have been in?
Any movie. Wow. Okay, let's see. Female actress. Carol Burnett. I think she would have been really fun to be with.
We watch her show at night before we go to sleep. It's on a
actor. And I remember being like 12 years old and standing in front of the TV and saying to Ricky Schroeder, I'm going to work with you one day. That's a very vivid memory.
So Ricky Schroeder would be your pick?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God, that's so funny because he follows me in social media. And,
Does he really?
And I mean, let's face it, he was like a huge, especially as a child star, he was a huge child star.
Yeah.
And he actually made a movie, his track movie with Brad Pitt when they were younger that I always enjoyed a lot. That's a cool one. All right, so then we go to Garo. I keep looking at it, so I mess it up.
Wait a minute. Where's the T in that or the G in that? It's Garo.
It's a soft rolling R.
Yeah.
The R is a soft rolling R.
Garo. I say it with an Italian accent. It's beautiful. Garo.
There you go.
There you go. All right, so you're a director. So let's say male and female actor you would love to direct. And then if you would have ever been the director of any major, movie that's ever been made, what movie would you have liked to have been the director of?
I love working with Anahit, to be honest with you. I mean, this is living the dream. This is what I've been wanting to do for years, We had that moment, too, on the set of this one. She came out in costume, fully made up, and she's walking to the set. She's like, hey, Anahit, guess what? She's like, what? We're living the dream right now, We're doing it.
We're making
it's not
a movie.
later. It's not, it's happening actually right now. This is the moment.
And I want to say something to our viewers. We've been at parties with these people, and they are exactly in real life what you see now. They are not fake, not phony. They're a sweet couple. They're just nice people. And I'm so happy for the success of your film.
Thank
I
you.
really am. Because it couldn't happen to nicer people.
Thank
You
you.
both really are sweet. We had fun at Michelle's house.
No, Marcel's house.
What did I say?
Michelle.
No, I mean, no, I have bad sinuses, so I took one of those pills.
You took a suit.
No, to get rid of it, and I'm stoned.
I love it.
He's a great guy, by the way.
We love Marcel. We love Marcel.
I love
to
Marcel.
death.
Marcel's my hero.
Good filmmaker. I mean, he's done some great stuff.
So Anahit, you're not.
The next one with him, Sarah, and Joe. That's a Wrap is coming out soon, which I've seen, which is great.
August 25th, yes.
Garden of Eden coming up soon, so that'll be something.
Wait, did you go to the That's a Wrap premiere? Like it was.
I did. I was there.
It was
And
great.
it's funny. Joe and Sarah are like, man, we'd love to work with Anahit, but I don't know, on another movie, but it's a horror one. This one's pretty gross. It's like, yeah, she's not gonna, she would love, she loves sci-fi and thrillers and dramas.
I'll do all of that.
Yeah, but if it's like too horrific, it's probably not.
No, I cringe. So when we were dating, Valentine's Day, he takes me to Scream. I'm like this the whole time, and the rest of the time I'm hitting him. Like, where have you brought me? I can't handle Scream, so I'm not gonna do horror. You know what I mean?
That's about as mainstream horror as it gets for her.
I love it. So Anahit, are you not on Instagram? Because I couldn't find an Instagram.
No, I'm not.
But Facebook, you can find me.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys can follow.
Facebook.
You guys can follow Garo. He's at Garo Setian, Garosetian. That's his Instagram. You guys, the name of the movie is Space Force: Quest for the Deep Star. You can find it on Tubi, Amazon Prime, YouTube, all over the place. And where can people see Automation? Is it still out?
Same places. It's free on all those same places. Kind of
Check
nice.
out Automation too.
Yeah, since Space Wars premiered like free on these places now, suddenly Automation's kind of had a big jump. So it's great. So it's like people are seeing
they'll look you up and they'll see it and they'll like it and they'll say, what else has he done? And then they go and see it.
It really is one.
It's been exciting.
Yeah, and I love both movies, and we're hoping to do a lot more. So,
I hope so too. So we want to thank you guys for coming on. I want everybody to see Space Force: Quest for the Deep Star, and we want to congratulate you on all the success.
Thank you for having us on.
We really appreciate it. Wonderful.
Absolutely. And we'll see you soon.
Well, I'm happy to say, sometimes movies come on that I don't like, and I don't want to hurt the film. So I'm very quiet about it. But I'm happy when a film comes on that I like, so I can really boast about it without. I don't lie. So folks out there, watch it. It's a good movie. Just go out and get a pizza. And have pizza. It goes good with pizza because we had pizza.
Popcorn, soda.
Exactly. It's
I made a gorgeous salad and I made my own pizza, by hand. And we ate pizza and salad and enjoyed that movie. That was an evening out. And it didn't cost us $150.
That's right.
So folks,
Go
Rent
see it, you
rent
guys.
it and
Space
enjoy
Wars
it.
for free.
Enjoy.
Stream it, not rent it.
Oh,
Stream it.
it's for free now?
Yeah, stream it, you guys.
Why is that good movie for free? You should pay for it.
Well, it had its period of time where people pay for it, and then after, like, it came out May 2nd on digital, and now, you know, just last week it became free.
It's so worth the money.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you guys check it out. You guys, thanks so much for coming on the show, and I'm sure we'll
And
see you
I
soon.
will get you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.
See you later.
Now I have to wash
Yay.
this off. You know, I kind of like the goatee.
Oh, well, you're going to keep it on for the second guest because he's here, and I can bring him on, or I can play a music video. What do you want to do?
Play a music video. Give me time to wash my face.
All right, you guys, real quick, we're going to play Stefano Over You, and when the song is over, we'll be back with our next guest, Thomas G. Waits. So here it is, Stefano Over You. Enjoy.
I never felt a level like you. One touch got me walking the moon. 'Cause you're heavenly. You are like a dream. In my mind, still only my perfect fantasy. I can't ignore it. I live for it. I can't look away. Girl, you're on me. Now I can't get over you. Every time I try, I come right back to you. Keep lying to myself, but we both know the truth. I'm addicted and I ain't got nothing left to lose. Can't get over you. Oh baby, I overdose kiss from a rose. I feel it in my bones. Sit on your throne, these midnight moments live inside my soul. And I know you got that poison for me. I need a hit again, my medicine. Let your love on me take over. 'Cause I can't get over you. Every time I try, I come right back to you. Keep lying to myself, but we both know the truth. I'm addicted and I ain't got nothing left to lose. Can't get over you. Can't ignore it. I live for it. I can't look away. Girl, you're on me. I can't ignore it. I live for it. I can't look away. Girl, you're on me. 'Cause I can't get over you. Every time I try, I come right back to you. Keep lying to myself, but we don't know the truth. I'm addicted and I ain't got nothing left to lose. Can't get over you. No, I can't get over you. Every time I try, I come right back to you. Keep lying to myself, but we both know the truth. I'm addicted and I ain't got nothing left to lose. Can't get over you.
All right, everybody, welcome back. That was Stefano Over You. And I think because I have so many things I want to talk to, we're going to bring on our first guest. Ron will be here in a minute. He's taking off the makeup so he doesn't look stupid for our second guest. And here he comes anyway. Hello, Thomas. Let's see if we can- Yes, say something. Let me make sure we can hear you.
Okay, I hope you can hear me because I have a lot to say.
Yes, we can hear you.
But you won't get a chance with Jimmy the Big Mouth. He doesn't shut up for a minute.
Hang on, can you move? Can you make it so the top of your head doesn't get cut off? Are you on a phone? Oh, there you go. Okay, just
Is
so
that
we don't
better?
Yeah, that's much better. All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, actor, director, and producer, and musician. Thomas G. Waits, hello and welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you.
How you guys doing? I heard you talking about Lance Henriksen.
Yes.
An old mate of mine.
Yes, he's one of my favorite actors. Actually, I went down your IMDb and lots of people you've worked with have actually been on this show.
I bet.
Let me introduce you to my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Where are you from in New York?
I live Upper East.
Upper East Side? Where are you from originally? Brooklyn?
I was born in Philadelphia, right outside of Philadelphia. And
don't
I
have
moved
a
to New York when I was 17 to study at the Juilliard School.
Of course, you have a New York accent, not a Philly accent.
Yeah, that Philly accent kind of got eradicated with all those years of training. But, I want to just mention Lance for a second because, Lance was in Dog Day Afternoon, as you know.
Yes.
And a great actor, great guy. And I don't know if you can see it behind me, that picture.
Yes.
It's a picture of me and Pacino and the great actor Clifton James. And I had just been offered American Buffalo. And I'm walking down 57th Street, and here comes Lance the other way, and we knew each other socially. And I said, Lance, hey, how you doing? He goes, how you doing? And I said, I just got offered American Buffalo. He's like, congratulations. And I go, but Lance, I asked him for $50 a week extra. That was a lot of money, you know what I mean? And he's a few years older than me, so he had this like brotherly affection for me, and he's like, you listen to me and listen to me good. You don't take that job unless they give you the $50. Hold out for it. And he just penetrated my consciousness in such a way, like, believe in yourself, he was saying. Don't let them get the best of you. And sure enough, $50 to an off-Broadway sold-out show that was sold out for months and months and months. It was nothing to them. But, I was young and I was somewhat trepidatious, I suppose. But Lance is a great guy. I ran into him at a signing in L.A., and we stayed up and had some drinks and got caught up. He's a sculptor,
I know. I have one of his. He makes these alien tiles with the alien monster, and I was at a convention, and he had been on our show, and he doesn't make them for people; he just makes them, and he gave it to me. And on the internet, there are thousands of dollars, and he just gave it to me. He wrote, "You're the coolest fucker ever," and he signed it on the back.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, I know. So I've always been a big fan. So first off, we have a chat room full of people. Say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hi, everybody.
And then we have a person in the chat room. Her name is Dawn, Dawn Hinton. Just say hi to Dawn because she sent me all these pictures of you saying how she had such a crush on you and everything. So say hi to Dawn.
Thank you. Hi, Dawn. Thanks for having a crush on me. You have good taste, I guess.
Yes.
Terrible taste in men, but maybe good taste in people.
So the reason and I know we have lots of stuff to talk about, and I actually have the trailer for your new movie we're going to play for everybody so they see it, and a performance with you and your band. But we have to talk about a couple of specific things, because I was on Peacock Television a couple of weeks ago. No, Paramount Plus, and The Warriors came on, and I've seen the movie probably, 200 times. It's one of my favorite movies ever. And I used to be, when I lived in Pennsylvania, I was really good friends with David Harris. He's been on the show a million times. And I thought, gee, I wonder what everybody else is doing, because we went to Chiller, and a bunch of the guys were at Chiller. This is 7 or 8 years ago. Several of them everybody was at Chiller, and I thought, let's just see what everybody's doing. So I looked you up, and you had an Instagram, and so that's how I sent you the message to bring you on. But I originally brought you on because of the Warriors, not knowing you have all these new things that you're doing, and the fact that you're in Unjustice for All and The Thing. I mean, those are three such iconic movies. But we have to talk about the Warriors a little bit, just because it's my favorite.
Sure.
And I love it, and I hate that you die in front of the train.
I do a great job of dying.
You do a great job of dying, and I guess there was all kinds of controversy with the film that I didn't even know that until I was bringing you on this time. But how in general, how was it being? Because that's that's probably the most iconic gang movie, and probably one of the most iconic movies shot in New York ever made in history.
Yeah, it was a big cult. It's become a big cult classic, and it was a big success for Walter at the time. I don't know if you remember that far back, but prior to that, The Driver had just come out. The Driver was released with Ryan O'Neal and Bruce Dern. while we were shooting The Warriors, and it did not fare well. It didn't get good reviews, even though I thought Ryan O'Neal gave a terrifically understated performance. Nonetheless, Walter was under a great deal of pressure because his most recent picture failed, and he was over budget and behind schedule with The Warriors. And I was young, and I really just became a pain in the ass to the guy, and I did it one too many times, and finally he just said, I don't want him to come back. And that was like the worst day of my life, and yet the greatest day of my life, because it hurt me so deeply. I didn't realize I was behaving so badly. I really didn't know. Honest to God, I was a 23-year-old kid. I came from nothing. All of a sudden, I had money in the bank, and it just, success happened very quickly, and I didn't handle it very well. And I became an annoyance in asking him a lot of unnecessary questions. And I think he finally just got annoyed with it. From my vantage point, however, there was a modicum of logic, and that is that he and I met and decided that it was going to be a film about how the love of Mercy and Fox rise above the war-torn gangland beneath their feet. And then when we started shooting, it obviously was not going in that direction. And instead of going to my agent or through the proper channels and authorities, I just kept bugging him on set until finally he just said.
So they basically killed you off then? Were you in the original script? You weren't supposed to get killed off.
No, I was supposed to go off with Deborah at the end.
Okay, so I think that's a great story.
Before we go any further, we really should not be mentioning names of films.
Yes, you can.
Well, I kind of agree with Sam.
No, we just did it on the last.
Right, because
it sells the film.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's not okay, Jimmy. It goes against the fight that we're doing.
We just did it with 100 people on the last one.
Yeah, well, that was an indie film. That was not a set.
Yeah, we can talk about my film, Target.
Yes,
which I want to talk about because that's completely independent, and
yeah, that we can.
I raised the money myself, and I'd really like to get people to watch it.
The other films were feature films in theaters, so we don't want to make people go. Well,
we can talk about some of the people though that you worked with.
Wait, go see the two films we mentioned 6 months from now.
Yes,
but not now.
I know the films we've mentioned. They've been out for 30 years.
That doesn't matter. You're not getting it, Jimmy. It's advertising the movie, and people are going to say, "Oh, I'm going to go in and look at it on Netflix," and then he doesn't get any money.
So you want to go see Target, you guys, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Let's talk a little bit about some of the people. Let me brag a little for you. Some of all the fabulous people that you've worked with.
Not the movie.
Al Pacino, John Forsythe. All the people, obviously, from the movie we just spoke about: Christine Lottie, Jeffrey Tambor, Craig Nelson, Lee Strasberg, Kurt Russell, Wilford Brimley, Keith David. We're actually going to an event with him soon. Adrienne Barbeau, who's been on the show a couple of times. James Remar, Daryl Hannah, Michael J. Fox, Joan Jett, Michael McKean, Gina Rollins, Michael Rooker, who's been on the show. Scott Glenn, Xander Berkeley's been on the show. Sean Penn, Gary Oldman, Ed Harris, Robin Wright, Burgess Meredith, John C. Reilly, John Turturro, Wesley Snipes, Jennifer Lopez, Woody Harrelson, Robert Blake, Chris Cooper, Jill Hennessy, John Voight, Paul Sorvino, Robert Culp, Eric Roberts, Simon Baker, Keenan Ivory Wayans, Martin Cove. Eric Roberts has been on the show.
And so has Paul Sorvino.
Yeah, Paul Sorvino's been on the show. So you've worked with like everybody. And now you have become your first-time writer-director, and you have a movie called Target. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, thank you for asking. So during the pandemic, I got very sick. I mean, I was one of the first ones to get it, and I lived alone at the time. And I mean, I video conferenced my doctor, and he said, I'll admit you. And I said, no, I don't want to be admitted. I'm just going to tough it out here. If I'm going to go, I'm going to go here. And I fought my way through it. And when I got through that, crucible, I said to myself, what do you really want to be doing with your life? And I've always wanted to make films. So I started the first draft of Target, the first of 27 drafts. But I started doing readings of it over Zoom and changing the casting until I finally got the right people. I raised the money myself, and we finally, through John Visneris, Dead Talk Live, we got a distribution deal, and it's available on Amazon Prime, Apple, and Vudu. It's called Target, a playful sex comedy. So make sure you're old enough to watch it. No, it's really not. It's more playful. It's more about how sex plays on the mind. So it's about a couple, and after 5 years of being together, they decide to spice things up a bit, and it goes a bit awry. And much of it is seen through, I don't know how much you know about painting, but the great painter Hieronymus Bosch, he has a painting of hell. And so the film is kind of seen through the eyes of the painting. And there's all sorts of trickery and chicanery that goes on, and great actors that are in it. Everyone, Jam Murphy, a newcomer, a beautiful young woman. She plays the lead. Nick Gregory, Philip Stoddard, Vinnie Petrosini, Tony Daniels. They're the main characters. And they all just did a great job for me. And for $150,000, I think I made a film that looks like it's $3 million. And it's funny, and it's fun, and it has, I think, a significant and poignant message that is delivered. And I wrote all the music to it, too. Because when we got into post-production, we realized how expensive everything was. And so I just said,
We have Big Claudia from Germany who says how do you pronounce the guy's name? Hieronymus? Hieronymus Bosch. She says she's very well known in Germany. She's from Germany.
Yeah.
So I have the trailer for this. Why don't you announce the trailer, and then why play the Target movie trailer after Thomas introduces it to us, and we'll play the trailer, and everybody will get an idea what it's about.
Oh, great. So this is Target. It was released April 18th, 2023. It was shot in May of 2023, and I wrote and directed it and wrote all the songs except for one. And my great friend Tony Daniels produced the music and arranged it. And it was produced by Vinnie Petrosini, Alyssa Rabinowitz, and another great friend of mine, Steve Conca, without whom I never could have done this project. It's a mammoth undertaking. And we pulled it off, and I'm quite proud of it. And I'm sure you will enjoy it. And if you don't, get a hold of me and I'll give you your money back.
Target, everybody.
Why don't you want to be intimate with just me?
It's just with me, the intimacy comes after you have sex with another man.
Why are you like this?
I'm a pervert. I need to take our sex life to a higher gear.
Okay, I'll think about it. But I have to pick the guy.
Dick's Deli.
Oh, you mean that guy that works there? You give me a ride on that bike sometime?
The first time you saw him.
You're blocking the walkway with your bike friend.
Nowhere else to park? One thing I know is you two love each other and are devoted to one another. And that, I respect. Salud.
Jump in the lake, anyone?
I may seem normal. No, you don't. Seem normal at all. Nice spies, dude. I am cuckoldom. It's a metaphor for guys whose wives cheat on them. But some men actually want their wives to have lovers. Let's put it this way. I'm a process guy. Okay.
Honey, I know that you want this, but his soul stays in me forever. They say. I'm really flexible.
Wanna wrestle for her? What?
I hate people! You're not gonna like it!
Whoa.
But it appears your house has been targeted.
You're done want some water?
Why? But I want a glass of water.
You stabbed him, then you shot him? Wow.
He was already stabbed. I shot him by accident.
Why would you shoot him if he was already stabbed? Can I get a glass of water? So what do you think?
About what?
Vinny,
Come in.
in case things get too crazy with Gemma, they don't work out, we have a backup plan.
A backup plan?
Goodbye.
I was just going.
Yay! So
God, I haven't looked at that footage in ages after studying it so many hours.
I've seen the guy, the older guy that's in it in a whole bunch of things before.
Nick Gregory.
Yeah, Nick Gregory, and the young guy makes me thinks of the guy from Michael Damian's movie. Who's that young guy now? I forgot his name.
I don't know.
Anyway, because Michael Damian, like you, found like some up and coming people, and now the guy's one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. He's like in everything. But Nick something, I forgot his name, but he kind of reminds me of that. And the girl's beautiful, and the concept's cool.
She's wonderful. You should really consider having her on your show. Jam Murphy, her name is. She's up and coming, and up until the strike, she was ready to do a big Ryan Murphy project for Netflix, and she's a comer. She's got the comedic timing. She's beautiful. She's the most fun person I've ever worked with, and I've been in this business, 45, 50 years. She's just a great kid, and she'd be a wonderful guest to have on the show.
Everybody loved the trailer too in the chat room. They're all saying beautiful trailer. So how did you come up with doing your very first movie, about sex?
Well, I thought, except for porn, which, I have nothing against it. I don't watch it myself. But there has never really been a story about there. You always hear a guy going through a midlife crisis and he turns to a younger woman for relief, right? But I'd set up a construct where he already had a younger woman. And what he wanted to expand his sexual verisimilitude, if you will, was an experience where it's called compersion. Compersion is the opposite of jealousy. It's where you derive pleasure from watching someone else pay attention to your mate. It doesn't have to be sexual, but it can be. And it's very rare.
Word. I know what you're talking about, but I've never actually heard the word.
But you know what I mean. There are people that wow, I think your wife is so beautiful. Yeah, me too. Isn't she great? They get off on it instead of the traditional machismo, I'm jealous and don't you dare look at my wife and all that. And I find that all very restrictive and constricting and unhealthy to the evolution of man.
I love it. I think it's cool. So you guys, the name of the movie is called Target. You can see it on Amazon Prime and Hulu, Vudu, and who else?
Apple.
And Apple. So you've done all these things, and then you created a band, and you have a band. And I actually saw we're going to play a video in a minute of one of the songs. But in the video, I noticed that you're in front of a First Jason thing. Which I know Ari Lehman's been on our show, so he's been on our show, and Ron did a movie called Clown Motel, and he's like one of the people that was in it. So he's actually in the film. Ari Lehman, he's in the Clown Motel movies.
Yeah, I think we opened for him that day. It was at an autograph signing, and his band hadn't shown up yet. So before people all left, we just ran into the chapel and went up and started playing. And I don't even know how it came out. I haven't heard a clip from it.
That's hilarious. So what made you decide to do music? You're writing. I mean, you're doing a whole bunch of different things now.
Yeah, well, I think, as I mentioned earlier, I'd gone to school as an actor at the Juilliard School, which is a great music school.
Yes.
And they forced us to take music classes, and I had to play the guitar and sing for a part. And I fell in love with the idea of being able to express myself musically as well. So it's taken me about 40 years, but I'm not bad now. But it took a long time for me to get it. I am not a quick learner. I learn things very slowly and methodically. But when I get them, I get them. And music is really it makes me merge with my soul.
So it's the name of the song is Chemical, and this is like a live, performance. So it's not mastered or anything, but it's fun to watch, and it is in front of the first Jason thing. So how about just introduce the song, and then Juan, you're going to play Chemical by the Thomas G. Waits Project. So it's like basically a folk group, right? Like it's like folk story.
Yeah, I'd say it's Americana.
Okay, Americana. Okay. All right, so introduce it, and we'll play it.
And this song is called Chemical, and it was written by Cedric, the young kid. He's our secret weapon. His voice, you'll hear it. We wrote it together. He was about 16 or 17. He was a student in my acting class, and we started writing together. And rather than me take all of the vocals, I like to, spread the wealth. And so the other guys get to sing. And we wrote this song for Cedric to sing, and it's called Chemical.
Enjoy, everybody.
I'm looking for some kind of purpose. 'Cause as of now, I'm just a floating goddess. This place is a restless wonder. A very nice of dreams. You live a world of its suffering. You're addicted now. It's all hooked on you. It's time to scream real loud. No one will hear a sound. Your love for me is not quite magic. With a chemical, I just can't. I wish that you could understand. Oh, you can't go around without your hand. This place takes you right by the walls and shakes you till you're either or gone. Then you say how big you are. You're addicted now. It's all hooked on you. It's time to scream it out. No one will hear a sound. Ain't a place to grow. Sway your heart rest without sorrow. Your lips to your heart's content. Consume it all while you can. You gotta be willing to pay the price. Before you start to waste your nights, you put think twice. You're addicted now. It's all hooked on you. It's time to scream real loud. No one will hear a sound. 'Cause I'm addicted now. You're addicted. I'm addicted. I'm
Hey-ho! So I'm not a huge Americana fan because I don't really listen to a lot of Americana, even though I do write. I have written for an Americana thing, but I think it's a lot of fun. But what is the thing that the guy's playing? It looked like he's sitting on a garbage can or something. And
He's playing a cajon.
A cajon. Okay, I don't know what that is.
It's like a little box, and it's like a percussion instrument. And it forces us to keep time. I mean, you couldn't tell by that footage because it was all over the place and it wasn't in sync. But, you know, we try really hard to keep steady time when we practice. And our band is playing September 5th at the 11th Street Bar. You really want to come and hear it and feel the experience of, because, you know, I give a performance, as you can imagine, and I get quite into it. And a lot of it is about, you know, the pains our country is going through, and it's kind of disguised as a love story of a man who loses love, then finds love, and
so wait, I saw on your website, I think you're playing another place that we have been to. What's the other place that you're playing at?
the other gig we have lined up is the Cutting Room on September 28th. Yeah.
So we used to live in Pennsylvania.
That's the one in the basement.
And we actually, I'm a publicist, and so I work with a lot of musicians. And so when we were there, we went to New York because we had one of my clients was playing at the Cutting Room, and we actually went there and saw it. And we're actually planning on coming back to New York soon. Right now we're in Palm Springs, California, but we want to go back. Ron's from Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
We're going to come back to New York.
Well, Chris Noth is a good friend of mine, and he's the owner of the Cutting Room.
That's very cool. What were you going to say?
He has a horn. Like we.
Are you Italian?
No. This is Moldavite. It's remember years ago a comet came crashing through the Earth. It went through the crust of the Earth's surface. Well, this is a little piece of it, and my partner Lisa gave it to me. It's for protection, and this is a new moon. And today is a new moon, as a matter of fact. This morning at 5:30 was a new moon in Leo. So that's the day, for those of you that are interested, when you're supposed to make wishes. Make 10 wishes. I'd like to create more financial abundance. I'd like to find a partner, whatever you're into, and write them out in a journal and follow New Moon Astrology. It's a book by Jan Spiller.
That's so funny. B. Claudia knows all this stuff you're saying. She's writing in here all of it. She also says she wants to listen. Have you guys actually recorded? Is there music on iTunes that you can actually
on Spotify? On Spotify is not under the Thomas G. Waits project, because that was earlier, under just Thomas G. Waits or the Thomas G. Waits band. I'm not sure. You can hear songs from the film fully fleshed out. And they're really built out, and they have a good sound to them. And we'll be releasing more on Spotify because, you know, my producer lives right upstairs and his studio is right there. So I get an idea for a song and I go, hey!
You go right upstairs. So let me ask you an actor question without mentioning any movies. So I always ask everybody, and you've worked with so many huge A-list,
I want to
stars.
ask you a question. Jenna Rollins, I love her.
Oh.
She's a wonderful, fabulous actress.
Jenna Rollins is a national treasure.
She's wonderful.
She was wonderful. Watching her work I just stood in the back behind all the cameras and I just watched her take after take. The concentration, the commitment, the preparation, the involvement in the scene, if a pencil would drop, it would become part of the scene. She included everything that was going on emotionally. Like Geraldine Page, another great actress, and Ann Wedgeworth, another great actress.
Well, they're all studio actors, that's why.
Yeah, all actors, studio people, exactly. And great actresses, every one of them, and I got to work with each one. Well, Jenna Rollins, I more watched, but I worked with Ann Wedgeworth and I worked with Geraldine Page when I was a young actor, and I'll tell you, you can learn a lot as a young actor if that's what you're interested in, watching older, more mature actors. Watch how they prepare. Watch how they carry themselves through a scene. It's a tremendous process of edification.
Is Jenna still with us?
I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so. Because I know she lived down here at Thunderbird in Palm Springs. And I was going to go to the country club one day for an event, and I was excited because I thought possibly Jenna would be there, but she wasn't. And somebody told me that she had passed away. So I wasn't sure, in fact, that she
Yeah, I
had.
believe she passed a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, bucket list, since you've worked with so many cool people, is there a male and female actor that you wish that you, or that might be a fun, and they could be living or dead, somebody who you think would be a lot of fun to work with, a male and female, that you haven't already, been in a movie with, so it's got to be somebody different.
Well, I've met her because we used to live in the same neighborhood many years ago in Soho, but I would love to work with Meryl Streep. I just think Meryl Streep is, she can play, name it. She can play a rock and roll singer. She can play a character who wants to be an opera singer and sings just enough off key through the whole movie that makes you know she can't sing. She can do it all. Royalty, she can play. She can do everything. And to me, she's emblematic of the health of our country and the wealth of talent. I also am deeply enamored by Julia Roberts. I've always found her to be.
Me too. I agree with that one.
She's just as talented as she is beautiful. It's amazing.
Julia Roberts is my all-time favorite. Pretty Woman is my favorite movie. I've seen it 500 times. I freaking love it. I like horror movies, so that's what I mostly like to watch. But Pretty Woman is my favorite, and I'm collecting Funko Pops. And I even have the movie that we were talking about earlier with you. I have the entire Funko Pop collection, which they don't have one for you, but I have the whole collection of everybody in it. As many of them that they make, I have.
Well, we're allowed to mention people. I want to mention the great John Carpenter.
Yes.
One of the greatest, along with Norman Jewison, directors that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. And, I encourage people to support John in any way they can. I
met him. I met him at a convention many years ago. He was terrific.
He's a great guy.
He was terrific.
He is a great guy. He makes work fun. It's not like, oh my God, the alarm went off, I have to go into the set. It's like, I can't wait to get there because he created an atmosphere. And, psychologically, he knew what he was doing. He was freeing his actors. He has great discipline, don't get me wrong, but he created such an atmosphere of warmth and, safety that you could fool around. And then when it was time to get down to business, you gave him everything. He has that effect upon people where he makes you want to please him.
I love it. So what about a female actress?
So I mentioned Meryl Streep. I mentioned.
Oh, you're the male actress. You mentioned. I'm sorry, I messed up. What about a male actor?
A male actor. Well, I quite like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes, nobody's ever picked him.
You know him?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I know who he is. I don't know him, but nobody's ever. I asked this question to every actor who comes on. Nobody's ever picked him. So, and we've been on the air for a long time.
Well, he's a brilliant boy.
Yes.
Did you see the film about? The title of it went out of my head. Maybe it was 2011. About the guy who cracked the code.
Yeah, that was a big.
And was castrated because he was homosexual, and it was illegal to be homosexual in England until 1968. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's why the Queen of England was so worried, because she was afraid they would arrest her for being a queen.
No, but I think Benedict Cumberbatch is absolutely, he did Hamlet, and they broadcast it on the screen here. And I also saw Jude Law. That's another actor I'd like to work with.
He loves Jude Law.
Brilliant. This kid is he's not a kid. He's just incredibly talented. And so is Benedict Cumberbatch. They're so gifted, and they're very real in the sense that American actors, we allegedly bring the interior work, and the British actors are more, proficient at the exterior work. Allegedly, that's the sort of rap. But occasionally you'll find the greats like Al Pacino can do Merchant of Venice, and he can do Scarface, because of the versatility of his talent and his capacity. And that's what interests me, is actors that are able to play something other than just themselves.
Did you get to on the one movie that you did with Al Pacino, did you get to work with John Forsythe?
Yeah, I did. I mean, you have to understand, I did Injustice for All, and then I did 2 plays with Al. So I got to know him quite well.
That's cool.
And the great John Forsythe. Oh my God, I grew up watching him as a kid on that TV show. What was it? He played it.
From when I was a kid, he was on Dynasty. But
what was it?
It was something before Dynasty.
Yeah, he played a father or something.
Yeah.
I think. What the hell was the name of it? I don't remember. Yeah, I know the show.
Oh, he was great. He was great.
Some Bachelor Father or something, was it?
Yeah,
called?
something like that. Jeffrey Tambor, Craig T. Nelson. It was Craig T. Nelson's first gig.
I love Craig T. Nelson.
He was so into it that, he has that great speech in Injustice for All, if you ever watched the film. But he didn't sit with the other actors during rehearsal. He sat off in the corner by himself. And then when it was his cue, he came charging into the table. Actors sitting around a table. He came charging in and went, "Arthur, this is it. This is the big pass." Whatever his lines are, I can't remember. But he stayed completely by himself only until it was time for him to engage as the character.
So my favorite line from the movie that we were talking about when you first came on, my favorite line, which happens to be your line, is, "We are not going to hide who we are because some whore shakes her ass." It's such a great line, and I because I probably watched the movie twice a year now. Anyway, I just like that it was on Paramount Plus, and I didn't have to watch a DVD of it. I even have a VHS tape of it.
Wow. Well, that's Walter's line. Walter wrote the script. And, to his credit, despite my belligerence and immaturity as a young man, one has to respect the vision that he had for that film, because it's unlike, aside from Clockwork Orange, any other film I've ever seen in terms of style. He took risks with style that no other directors usually take and get away with.
We've had Malcolm on the show too. Actually, we saw him back in.
Malcolm, he is one of the sweetest, nicest people I've ever met. I had a long talk with him, and he's just so full of kindness and goodness and caring. He's a good guy, and he likes to.
I love him. I met him at a signing. Malcolm McDowell, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I met him at a signing, and I tried to convey, my admiration for his work as an actor, just actor to actor. And he was so appreciative, he's so grateful.
I'm friends with his agent.
Thank you.
Chris Rowe is a pretty good friend of mine.
We met him at the director's red carpet, the director's studio.
Oh yeah, I know of Fred. I know a lot of actors that I've trained have worked for him.
So hang on, because we've only got 2 minutes. One, you have a school? Like, you want to plug the school?
Yes. So thomasgwaits.com is my website, and there you can find everything. My acting school, TGW Acting Studio, my band, the Thomas G. Waits Band, and my film Target. And I also have another film in the works that I'm trying to get off the ground, a horror film called Devil's Night, Knight. And I wrote it for my friend Kelsey Grammer, and we're in the process of trying to put that film together and shoot it as soon as we possibly can. And other than that, I'm a musician. I spend my time writing songs, teaching actors, and basically loving life and being extremely grateful to have the life that I've had.
There you go. So you guys can follow Thomas on Instagram. His Instagram is Thomas G. Waits. just like he's got it written without the period. Again, is thomasgwaits.com is his website. We want to thank you for coming on the show. Congratulations on all that you're doing. And everybody goes check out Target. The name of the movie is Target. It's on Amazon Prime, Vudu, and Apple. And we want to thank you for coming on the show, and we appreciate it, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you, gentlemen. You take care of yourselves, okay?
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody, too. Next week, we're not going to be here, you guys. We're playing a repeat because we are going to the Rudy Valentino Memorial. Next week, we're going to the Rudy Valentino Memorial. We'll take a lot of pictures, and it happens to be on Wednesday, and that's the only day it is, so we have to go to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, so we'll see you in 2 weeks, everybody.
Is the silent movie star, Rodolfo Valentino.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Juan. Thanks, everybody in the chat room. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Can turn out to be so wrong. Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes, download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.